Bandicoot Retrospective. Press start to begin.
The year is 2007 and Crash of the Titans was just released on the PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, Nintendo Wii, and PSP. Being the first mainline Crash Bandicoot game developed by Radical Entertainment, you can definitely tell that Crash Bandicoot is undergoing some changes this time around. Yeah, this is the era of Crash Bandicoot people seem to not really like to talk about. This time around, Vivendi Universal and Radical Entertainment felt that Crash needed a bit of an update to appeal to modern gaming audiences. They wanted to bring back the difficulty that the classic Crash games had, but with a modern spin. No pun intended. Their solution for this was to put more of a focus on the combat. They also saw the appeal of Crash Bandicoot at this point with its humorous writing, so they tried their best to put the humor forward when it came to the writing in this game. Now, to address the giant elephant in the room, every single character, as well as the world of Crash Bandicoot itself, was entirely redesigned. Radical Entertainment and Vivendi Universal wanted to give Crash Bandicoot's design a more modern punk rock update. Will this new take on Crash Bandicoot breathe new life into the franchise, or will this new direction take away what made Crash feel like Crash? Let's find out. The story starts on a day like any other. Crash, Coco, and Crunch are chilling by their home when all of a sudden, Cortex shows up in his blimp. In the course of a few seconds, he freezes Crunch in a block of ice and kidnaps Coco and Aku Aku. Luckily, Crash throws the device Coco was building at Aku Aku's cage, dropping him into Wumpa Forest. Crash goes and meets with Aku Aku, where the mask senses that Cortex and Uka Uka are stealing the mojo from one of the temples nearby. Mojo is a new substance introduced in this game. It apparently has the power to magically induce mutations into animals. Crash and Aku Aku make it to the Mojo Temple, but unfortunately Cortex finishes stealing the mojo he needs and reveals his new plan. He's going to use the mojo to mutate a bunch of animals into these Titan mutants, and then use their power to help him build his ultimate doomsday robot, the Doominator. Cortex throws a Yuctopus at them as he flies away with Coco. At Cortex's base, all of the villains are there discussing what to do next. There's Cortex and Engine. That's Uka Uka? That's Tiny?! Anyway, Uka Uka tells Cortex that he is sick of all of his plans failing, so he's replacing him. Now the person in charge of building the Doominator is Cortex's own niece, Nina Cortex. Damn, we've been seeing her a lot lately. Much to the dismay of Tiny, Engine, and of course, Cortex, they follow Nina's orders as she hypnotizes Coco into building the Doominator for them. Crash then goes around different parts of Wumpa Island, fighting and interrogating Tiny, Engine, and Uka Uka on the whereabouts of Coco. Eventually, Crash and Aku Aku find themselves at the Doominator to finally confront Nina and save Coco. Inside the Doominator, Nina tries to stop Crash using her Arachnina robot. But of course, Crash emerges victorious, breaking Coco out of her hypnosis and sending the Doominator crashing down onto Wumpa Island. The game ends with Cortex telling Nina he's proud of her and that he's gonna give her a spanking?
Ew! Dude! What the fuck?
And with the Bandicoots deciding to celebrate with pancakes, which causes Crash to finally say his first ever word since whoa.
Pancakes!
Cringe. What was it they said they were trying to do? Focus on the comedic writing? Or is it? The thing is, the concept of the story isn't terrible. Uka Uka firing Cortex and having Nina take the reins as the main villain this time around is a great idea. I even like the idea of having all of Cortex's henchmen staying loyal to Cortex regardless. That's some great characterization. It's just, the writing itself, the execution of the story is just, it's doo-doo. I know I throw this word around a lot, and usually I'm being ironic about it, but this time I really mean it when I say that this game's humor is just cringe. They're trying to channel early YouTube humor and just utterly failing at it. What made Crash Twinsanity feel so funny is that it perfectly channeled the tongue-in-cheek, slightly edgy humor that was popular in cartoons like Ren and Stimpy or Looney Tunes or Animaniacs. This works since this is the type of humor that Crash Bandicoot was made to emulate. This game's humor just feels so childish. Ha ha ha, Cortex is getting weirdly horny over his machine. Ha 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 ha, Coco is making a machine that can create infinite butter. If there's one joke I'm really getting sick of in these modern Crash games, is just making the characters be celebrity impressions. Characters that were once their own thing have been reduced to just impressions. Oh hey, Engine is Peter Lorre. Oh hey, Crunch is Mr. T. Oh hey, Tiny is Mike Tyson. This isn't funny, it just removes their already established characters to make a few jokes on the celebrities they're parodying, which, mind you, most kids playing this game at the time of release wouldn't understand. The story is so close to being good, but it plain isn't funny. With all of that in mind, Crash of the Titans story gets my rating of a D. This game actually plays pretty different to your typical Crash Bandicoot game. Sure, you still run and jump your way through levels, but instead of having the focus on the levels be the difficult platforming, now it is based more on the combat. Crash of the Titans is more so of a beat-em-up with platformer elements than it is an evolution of the platforming genre. Each stage will have sections where you must defeat a bunch of enemies in order to continue. There are two tiers of enemies. There are the smaller enemies who can be beaten the crap out of until they die, and then the second tier of enemies are the titular Titans. These are bigger enemies that, when Crash beats them up enough, get stunned and allow Crash to use the new mechanic of jacking. When Crash jacks a Titan, he puts Aku Aku over the monster's face and is able to control said monster. Each monster has their own moveset that can be advantageous or disadvantageous depending on the situation. Crash is also upgradable in this game too. When you defeat an enemy, they drop these blue orbs called Mojo. When you collect enough Mojo, Crash will be upgraded with stuff like higher attack, more health, and a longer duration for your spin. A longer duration for my what? My spin? Oh, I guess that means you could just spin for longer in general. It's not like Crash gets... What? Why was that the choice? How do you take the iconic attack of a video game character and add a hindrance to it? Imagine if after too much running, Sonic got tired. Imagine if Mega Man had to pick up ammo for his pea shooter. Imagine if you had to sit there and wait for Mario to finish eating the mushrooms. It's such a weird gameplay choice that I don't understand why they made. If I were to have designed the combat of this game, I would have made the spin the equivalent to a heavy attack. I would have made the spin part of the combo. I think my main issue with this game's gameplay is that it really just doesn't feel like I'm playing a Crash Bandicoot game. They could have placed any video game character into this game, and not only would it work without feeling like a Crash Bandicoot ripoff, I think people would have liked it better. In trying to update Crash Bandicoot into the modern day, they instead just threw away Crash's gaming identity in favor of a game that could have starred any character at all. This is the Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric of Crash Bandicoot when it comes to how well it adapts the games before it. I prefer old Crash any day. With all of that in mind, Crash of the Titans gameplay gets my rating of a B-. Well, here we are, the presentation section. When you all clicked on this video, you probably saw this rant coming. So, let's just stop avoiding the giant elephant in the room and just dive right in. These redesigns are terrible. Almost every single character in this game got a downgrade on their design. Crash is too fuzzy and has a body that makes him less dynamic. Coco's face is wider than Cortex's was in Wrath of Cortex. Crunch is too red. Aku Aku looks less like a witch doctor and more like a gorilla. Tiny is literally the wrong type of tiger. Engine is too blue. Cortex just looks like someone tried to create Cortex in Sims. And Uka Uka, my god, Uka Uka, he looks absolutely nothing like he did in previous games. What is the logical leap between this and this? I guess they both have bones? In what world is a red half-face that jiggles when it talks more intimidating than this absolute unit of a plank of wood? The only character whose design got an upgrade was Nina. Nina went from looking like this gremlin of a child to being a fan of My Chemical Romance, and I say that with love. Other than the character designs, the level designs are just so bland and generic. We start out in a lush green forest with these beautiful colors, but then the rest of the game is just gross browns, dark greens, and industrial grays. It becomes very bleak very quickly, and it just bores me. I feel very bad for these voice actors because they really do great, but they're just given the worst material so it makes them sound bad. How do you make John DiMaggio and Greg Eagles sound bad? That's fucking Bender and Grimm. Lex Lang really tries his best, but he's given such cringe lines that how do you deliver that well? I can't say the music in this game is bad. It's definitely got the right idea. You can definitely tell they tried to harken back to the original soundtrack using more tropical sounding instruments. The problem lies that they use more generic sounding orchestrated instruments along with the sort of jungle type percussion. Some of the songs just sound like generic video game orchestra when others actually get the beat going good. I just wish they would have used more of the instruments that they used back on those old soundtracks. As much as it sounds like a joke, I'd love to hear more didgeridoo incorporated into this soundtrack. The music almost hits the mark, but it falls short with just how unmemorable it is. With all of that in mind, Crash of the Titans presentation gets my rating of C+. No, 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 no. Do not complete this game. I'm going to tell you that right off the bat. I literally broke a controller trying to complete this game. I'm getting ahead of myself though. To complete Crash of the Titans, you must beat all of the levels in the game, get the gold rank in every level, collect all of the concept art dolls, and beat every Tiki arena, and fully level up Crash. As an added oomph, I did all of this on hard mode. I will tell you this one for free. Do not ever play this game on hard mode. Even with a fully upgraded Crash, not only will you get stun locked by the Titans constantly, you will also lose all of your health in an instant, no matter how much your health is upgraded. It is downright unfair how much your health bar does not matter in this game. Not only that, but you have lives in this game. So if you game over, you have to start the level all over again, and these levels get long. Not only that, but you have to do the requirements you need to get to the Gold Tiki rank again. In order to get the Gold Tiki rank in a stage, you must complete the following 3 tasks. First, you must get the Combo King requirement. Every hit you land on an enemy without getting hit yourself within a time limit will be counted on your combo meter. Each level has a different Combo King requirement. Sometimes it's low, like 25, and sometimes it's as high as 75. Honestly, the best way to go about these is to find a part of the level where there are a lot of small enemies trying to attack you, group them together, and then spin through them all. Second, you must get the Minion Master requirement for each level. All you have to do is defeat a set amount of the tiny enemies in a stage. As long as you make an effort to defeat all of the enemies in a stage, you will pretty much always get this mission completed. The third requirement is to find and destroy all 3 spy bots in every stage. Once again, not that difficult, but some spy bots are in some pretty dumb spots. Do this for every level and you will win. Along the way, you will unlock certain costumes for Crash that he can wear. What the game never tells you is that these costumes have a purpose. If you wear the costume of a Titan in the game, every time you fight that Titan, you will stun it in one hit. That is an insanely useful thing to know that the game just outright refuses to tell you. If you do decide to go on this absolutely absurd endeavor, I will tell you 2 things that you must do if you want to make it bearable. For one thing, when you unlock the Battler costume, put it on and never take it off. Not only are they the most powerful and most annoying Titan you'll fight in the game, they are also very abundant in the final parts of the game. Putting this costume on will literally make the Uka Uka fight possible. The second thing you must do, and this one can be done pretty early on, so early on that I wish I knew about it sooner, is to use this exploit. In level 3 of this game, when you go to the Tiki Arena, you will see a lone Titan standing there. You are meant to jack this Titan so that you can do the challenge. If you instead slide on Aku Aku and slowly make your way inside of his model and jump in just the right way, you will see this happen. You will be infinitely hitting the Titan. Not only will this give you an insane amount of lives very quickly, you will also fully level up Crash in a matter of minutes. I was literally able to get over 1,000 lives this way in just about 15 minutes. Do this so that you can have the best Crash you can have and never worry about game overs ever again. You want to know the best part? Do you want to know what you get for 100%ing this game? Actually nothing. You get bragging rights. What a fucking nightmare of a completion game. You know, back when I did my previous retrospective on Crash, please don't watch those. They are from before the retrospectives had any sort of format to them whatsoever. Steve and myself were very harsh on Crash of the Titans for what it did to the Crash Bandicoot franchise. In fact, this comment right here was talking about how they thought we were being way too harsh and way too immature about it. And to a degree, they were right. I don't see a horrible destruction of a franchise here anymore. I see the wasted potential for a new IP. Crash of the Titans should not have been a Crash Bandicoot game at all. If it instead opted to make an entirely new cast of characters, I feel like that not only would I like Crash of the Titans better, but the gaming community at large would like Crash of the Titans better. With a cringeworthy story, gameplay that is fine enough but doesn't feel like the gameplay of a Crash game, redesigns of beloved characters that are just downright awful, music that almost hits the mark, and a very, very frustrating completion process, Crash of the Titans just isn't it. If they really thought this was a natural evolution for the Crash Bandicoot series going into the modern age, I want to know what world they live in where Crash 3 leads into this in any sort of seamless way. Playing this game made me miss old Crash. With all of that in mind, Crash of the Titans gets my overall rating of a C. I am not looking forward to having to play this game 2 more times. Thank you everybody so much for watching this video, and if you like the Crash retrospective, please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this one, and hit that bell so you don't miss the next episode. We also have merch in the description below where you can get our shirts, mugs, and stickers to enrich your gameplay experience. I'd like to give a special shout out to Andrew's Retro Games for being the most well-esteemed guest of them all. You could also become a channel member to get all of these videos when I'm finished editing them as opposed to when they're scheduled to come out. Next week, we'll be looking at the next Crash game in the lineup, Crash of the Titans for the Game Boy Advance. With that, I'm Bottles, and I bid you, my well-esteemed guests, adieu.